I don't like the way that lays in. I don't like that at all. But am I gonna go with it? Probably. So I measured this out for a full panel, but I was waiting until I got that fly rafter on over there. But I don't have that 2x6 yet. But I can go ahead and back these screws out, run this panel over. Whenever I get that, all I gotta do is back the screws out, which will be this, but out there. And I can kind of flop that piece of metal up, run those down, and we'll be good. But I wanna go ahead and get this part covered up. That's a critter entrance right there. We gotta eliminate that. Pull it up just like that, access it. Remember, we get that fly rafter on there. Let's rip this piece down next. A little bit. You know, Mike, the quickest way and the easiest way to cut that metal is just change your saw blade 27 times throughout the day. That's the best way to cut the metal, Mike. If you're gonna rip those long pieces, make sure you just change your saw blade 27 times. That's the best way. Yep. There we go. No, I'm not going to tape that 6-inch section. Very nice. Very nice indeed. I actually had about an hour to work on this today. We had a storm blow a tree down. I need to get that cleaned up today. So a few days later, the next step, we'll do a little concrete right down here and build a small shelf. And it's all gonna make sense. It's all gonna tie together in this main component. This gate right here. This gate right here is just temporary to keep the birds out of the barn until we get everything finished. You get a rough measurement here. We're looking at 48 inches. And that gate is gonna go vertical right here. That gate is 7 feet, well, it'll be 7 feet tall when it's in this position. Which is right about there. And 4 feet wide, which is right about there. So what we're going to do to shut off this end of the gate is just build a storage shelf right there that we can store some small things on. So I suppose the best way to do that is just get this overall measurement So overall, we're at 70 and a half. Minus 4 feet. That's going to be 1 foot, 10 and a half. 1 foot, 10 and a half. If anybody ever told you living in the country is peaceful, they're lying to you. So I got both the sides up. It's time to start putting the boards on for the shelves. We're just going to take whatever the measurement is in the back. We'll double check top and bottom. They might be a little different. Who knows? 58 and 1/8 would make me happy. 58 and 1/8. You know, it's just 8 and 1/8. Oh no, it's right there. All right, we're not going to use that one. Whenever I buy this timber, I buy it from Phil H's Timber Harvest, and the grade I get is pretty much the lowest grade you can get. It's too common, which means it's going to have some imperfections in it. So that's just something you kind of have to work with. The advantage of it is it's really inexpensive and you can get quite a bit of material. Disadvantage, like I said, you got to kind of work around some imperfections. But if a fellow wants less imperfections, you got to pay more money, and I'm not willing to do that at this point. Does anybody remember the measurement? 50 something. We're going to start on the outside and work our way back. We'll probably have to pull these together. Actually, they fit pretty good. Thought we'd have to pull them together just a little bit, but they seem pretty happy where they're at, huh? Real fancy technique here. Real fancy technique. What you do here, see I got a mark up top, and then we're just gonna eyeball the screw till it comes out right there. See that? And we're gonna take the board, we're gonna shove it back there. We're gonna kind of get it on the screw. We're gonna take a scrap piece of wood, check our reveal. Huh? Oh yeah, that fancy. And just kind of shove it on there and run the screw in. Oh wow, what a technique, fellas. And we just eyeball our way down, one in each board. Would be plenty. Gotta trust yourself here. Oh, that would hurt. All right. That'll just kind of help hold all the boards together. And we'll shove a couple back here. Beautiful. That's good. That's where I needed them. Really, I'm going to do a whole lot of work right there in that particular spot. Oh gosh. That's what we ended up with there. I just put my tools up there for the time being while we're working on it, but that's the kind of stuff we'll end up with. We don't use those feeders and waters for the big chickens. We only do that stuff when we have the chicks because it's low enough that they can actually get to it. We use a different system for the feeder and water for the bigger chicks, and we'll show you that later in the video. I haven't done anything on that bottom part yet because when we do concrete here, we'll put some treated posts right at the bottom on those corners. It's plenty strong now because it's literally hanging off that loft, but wood is not known for its tensile strength. So at some point we'll have to get some posts under those corners. But that'll be fine for the time being. It's a new day. It's time to do a little chicken wire work. We're gonna start up top. Now eventually all this is going to get closed in by some type of window, whether I go to a glass shop and have them make glass and make my own windows, or use a polycarbonate, make my own window. Something's going to happen there eventually. It's going to have to happen before the winter to close it in and keep it somewhat comfortable in here. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and put chicken wire up there, so that'll at least go ahead and keep the predators out. And even when we build whatever we build up there for windows in the summer, we're going to want to open them for ventilation, so we need the chicken wire up there regardless. I think the plastic wrap and chicken wire is kind of an unnecessary step. Doesn't make sense to me. It's galvanized wire made to go outside in the elements. Why are we wrapping it? So, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this section right off the beginning. It's kind of where they fold it up. I'm just using old tin snips. This isn't great for your tin snips, but this is an old set. Once it starts cutting sheet metal bad, they're still good for cutting other things. No sense of throwing them away. So that's what we ended up with up top. I think it looks great. It goes all the way up to that 2x4 and it's stapled to the back side of that 2x4. So it's secured from there all the way to where it meets the metal. Turned out really nice. It all fits in there pretty tight. You can see it goes all the way up to that 2x4 on the bottom side there. Looks pretty good through there. And if there are any little weak spots, keep in mind we still got to frame in all the stuff for what we do for the windows. So every step we take, it's just going to get more and more secure. I think it's going to work really well. We got some roof trim, we got a dog, and we've got some sacrete. That's first. So this is going to be the feed and water area. There's going to be nesting boxes on that wall, but where the cross member is, we're not going to put any nesting boxes because we want to access the nesting boxes from the outside so we can just reach in and get the eggs real quick. So we're doing water and feed here. And the feed system is going to be kind of cool. I just learned about this, oh gosh, via TikTok recently. So it's kind of a new thing for me. It's for you. It's all for you. Yeah, I hear you. We all hear you. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Almost though, huh? Almost. That's how she ended up. That's just got the mag float on there. Then I ran the mag once just to push some of that bleed water across. We're in the sun. No, we're not. We're in the shade, so I'm not too worried about leaving that bleed water to play with. Right on across. We'll hit it with steel trowel in a little bit. Following morning, looks great. I hit it. Oh, sorry. I hit it twice with a steel trowel. And that'll be just fine. It looks great. You guys excited? Are ya? Good morning to you. So we're just gonna hit this ripped edge with the plane, real easy. We're not doing anything fancy here. We're not doing anything noxious. We're not trying to smooth this out. We're just trying to take the saw burrs and the sharp edge off that corner. Just a couple passes. That's it. That's all we're doing. Walnuts? I don't know. There you go. We've got all the edges how we want them. Just kind of takes the rip burrs, the saw burrs off there, makes the edge a little bit nicer. The next step, we're going to take this right here. There's still some sawdust and some dirt on these. We're not sanding them, we're not making them smooth, it's just a barn. But this little feller does a good job of getting all the sawdust down and out of the saw marks. And just kind of gets her cleaned up. A little bit better for paint. Oh gosh. Not the time. Sorry, don't take it personal. This could be a potential problem. Found us a good stir stick. Pretty literal here. Coat number 1 on this side. While that dries, we've got a little bit more concrete work to do right here. Right here, you can look at it.
Wow.
Hey?
Why is it like this?
Well,
it's
we're
like
gonna.
chomping it.
It does. We're gonna put a gate there, so we gotta put concrete under it so the chickens can't get under the gate. And we just kind of scrape the top off to make it flat, and that's when you're asking about that scrap over there, that stuff on the ground. That's where that comes from. Whenever it's called screeding. Whenever you screed the top like that, it just comes on the ground like that. While that concrete sets up, we're gonna go ahead and get the second coat on this. You can see it soaked that first coat up really fast, which we expected. We'll let that dry. We'll flip it over and do the second coat the other direction. That way, see if I missed anything on the bottom side, which I'm sure I did. This isn't quite ready for the third coat yet. Let's check the concrete. Still a little wet, but it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and do a pass with the mag float. Just knocking the rocks down, smoothing her out a little bit, getting some cream to the top. I think some people are a little worried or hesitant to mess with concrete. It's really pretty simple. I'm not saying I would make your first pour your basement slab at your house, but stuff like this, a beginner could do pretty easy. I mean, if you make a big mess in it, you're not hurting anything. You just put it back. As long as you pay attention to it and keep up with it, you won't have any issues. We'll leave that a little longer, then we'll come back with a steel trowel. Oh wow, looks like we've painted the fingers a little bit. We'll come back and hit that with the steel trowel in a little bit. Second coat on that edge was just put on. Let's check out our concrete creation in here. It'll all make sense in a little bit, or maybe it won't. Either way, it's gonna happen. I lost my mag float. Let's see if this is ready for a, still pretty soft for a steel trowel. We'll leave that sit a little bit longer. Let's see if this is enough. We can kind of mold her up how we want her. These are the barrels we're going to use for the water collection for the birds. That is a kayak paddle for some odd reason. These were food grade. I'll give you a tip. Most barrels, if you got to pay for them, they're probably food grade, and they'll typically still have the labels on them. This was a wheat extract. That's what this one was. If they're giving the barrels away for free and they don't have the labels on them anymore, they probably had something in them that you don't want your birds drinking. Food grade wheat extract, we can rinse it out. Actually, the first barrel we got them was a fruit punch concentrate. They loved it for like the first 2 weeks, and then it was just regular water. So we're gonna rinse these out and get them carried inside. So the first one is done and rinsed out. It looks great. I guess one of the screws on top, I didn't tighten down all the way. It's been sitting under that roof. It was about half full, and whatever was left in there was fermented. It had an odor, but she's clean now. We're gonna do number 2. I'm assuming it's the same way. Oh yeah, it smells like a distillery in here. You're gonna see what she looks like. Oh, that one's actually not bad as far as what's in there.
That's actually clear.
pretty good too. I don't know if they'll fit. Yeah. Just like that. And that'll work perfect for us. Obviously, we'll get some straps, we'll get everything anchored in. We'll have to come up with a way to get this connected to this. And the whole reason we're doing it height-wise, one, it takes up less floor space, and two, the taller we make it, the less likely they are to get up here and roost on it. It also increases the amount of water that we can store. Somebody's gonna tell me to do it differently. I'm not going to. This is how we're gonna do it. The water cups will come right up about here, so the bottom 3 or 4 inches will leave room for sediment. Of course, we'll have some sort of screen from the downspouts coming in for the big stuff, but little small dirt's still gonna get through. And we'll put a valve down low so that we can flush this thing out and drain it out the bottom, just like you would a hot water heater. I'm gonna pull this down for the time being. It's kind of awkward on these short runs like this. Beautiful. And that'll help me get her lined up with the center. Just perfect. There we go. You gotta nail it right above a rib. If you don't, it pulls the center down and looks awfully goofy. So we got 2 on each side and we're lined up pretty good. We can just run screws down there now. We're gonna work on the feed system instead real quick. Somebody mentioned in one of my other videos that I should put outtakes in because they want to see all the times that I get mad about stuff. I normally don't. If stuff doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You know, life's short. It's not worth getting fired up about. But the thing is, the biggest thing you would see in the outtake is 2 things. Me stumbling around on trying to figure out how to say something and looking for a box that I had just 1 day ago. No exaggeration, 40 minutes to find this box. You know where it was? I stacked it nice and neat in our recycling for cardboard. I'm telling you, that would be the outtake, me looking for things. So this box, this is the feed system. This is what we're gonna switch to, and it should work really well for us. Comes with everything we need. It's got a little hole saw. The hole saw it came with was probably just made for plastic. It took me a little bit, but I was able to round up and piece together enough of my hole saw parts to get going here. All right, so my hole saw, I don't know where all my stuff is. We're gonna cut circles with the tin snips. We're just gonna do it that way. There we go. So here's what it is. It's a little piece of PVC. It comes with these little block out tubes if you want to block the food out for whatever reason. I'm sure that's going to come out. Why is this proving more difficult than I expected? There we go. So it comes with a little block out cap, this screw on piece. And then there's these little silicone, or what have you, rings. And then that will sit right up on top there. I didn't take into consideration that the floor isn't in yet, so we're kind of tall. I'm just debating about what to do. I may go ahead and I poured it on plastic, so if we ever change our mind in the future, it'd be easy to remove that. I might go ahead and just pull that concrete out and then set it down on the ground. Another option is hanging it, but I didn't really design any of that to have anything hung from it. So, I think I'm just going to have to build them a little dinner table until we get the floor and just run some boards right around that corner so they can actually get up to the feeders. I did rinse and clean out all the little metal shavings out here, by the way, but the idea is pretty simple. They just reach in there and peck out the food. Now we may invert these. I'll have to see how it works. That's how it recommends putting them in. This will hold 2 full bags of feed, by the way, which is kind of nice. Let me build them a little picnic table. There we go. A beautiful custom picnic bench. Not every chicken gets such luxuries, but that should be plenty of height for them. And those will rot away over time, but there's not a lot there to replace. It'll definitely hold us over until we get the main floor in, then we can come up with a temporary solution there. But that'll do the trick. We're going to steal the hardware off this old gate section. Today's just going to be a do-over type of day. That's okay. You have that. I'll have to check with the engineer who designed these specs, I guess. That's what we're going to have to do in the long run. Whatever. What I could do though, I can just back these out and slide them over. How far do I need to go? As far as I can. Got it. At least we're not going to have a bunch of random holes in this place. That'd look silly, wouldn't it? All right. Get in there. You guys on? Oh, beautiful. That's good. I need you to be. Okay. It hits up top there, but I need it to, you know? I need it to be... I want it to be high enough that the chickens don't want to go up and roost up there. Alright, so I've got this other section of fence that is like the actual perfect size of that opening. Oh yeah, now we got something going here. Huh? Beautiful. Will it open all the way? Will it open a full? Maybe not because of the hinges. Yeah, it goes about that far. That's not bad. That'll work. So this is a shorter section. We'll still have to take it off and paint it. Not a problem though. I put the barrels going the same way. Sometimes you want to do them opposite so it locks them in and you can't take it off, but I put them going the same way. So whenever we muck out the coop, we don't have to fight the gate. We can just pop this off, clean the coop out, and then, well, watch me struggle for 30 minutes as I try to line these back up by myself. Oh, yeah. Oh, not bad. Oh, that's less than 30 seconds. Then you can put it back on. So I can take it off easy and go get it painted. That'll be fine. Like I said, my only concern is that they'll try to get up in that loft and roost up there. So we'll have to see. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll behave themselves. But that'll work for that. And then as far as the one that we already painted, there will be a divider right here. This will be the stalls for the goats, 2 stalls. Wood on the bottom to keep the bottom completely separated. And then we're going to put the chain link up on top. So they're still separated and they can't jump pins if we need to keep them separate, but there's still good airflow through the barn. And we're just going to have to cut and notch this to make that fit. So we'll still be able to use it, not a waste. But we're back out at it. Let's go ahead and get that roof trim knocked out. Then we can get all this stuff picked up out of the way and we can run that wire. Gotta do a little trimming, nothing too bad. I left these kind of long because I had to get the screw holes that were already in the panel. Remember, I bought this used to line up with purlins. So I just kind of left the top of this a little long. Give me something to play with here. Go ahead and pull this up and cut her down to a pretty approximate length. And that is gone. Beautiful. Now I'll spin around so the factory end is what's overlapping. And then what we're cutting gets cut. It's already cut, you know what I mean? Clean factory end on the overlap. At least you guys fell kind of gracefully that time. You got that going for you, huh? I don't like the way that lays in. I don't like that at all. But am I gonna go with it? Probably. So here's how this all finished out. There's a squirrel just having a buffet of hickory nuts up here, and that's fun. This side finished out good. But that's what she looks like. She's all protected from that side anyway. I think that'll do just fine. Probably go ahead and run one more screw right there. That held that down, but it's so close to that rib, it's just not wanting to lay here very nicely. Now, a fella could take a pop rivet, you know, throw a rivet in there. Here I am worried about how this looks. And what I'm forgetting is, since we don't have the fascia on, I don't have any screws on that side, but whenever we get the fascia on, that comes up like that. It comes up and rides just like that. So it'll look fine once it's all said and done. I don't know why I'm worried about that. We're good enough. We're good enough. You gotta wait for the second part there. So here's where we're leaving you on this goat barn chicken coop update. We've got wire and wood all the way around the bottom, that wood securing that wire. Eventually we'll put some backfill over top of that to bury that wire so we're not tripping on it. Most likely some chert rock, which is some inexpensive base material we use around here. We've got roof trim all the way around the top and the ridge cap on. We can't put this roof trim on because it is dependent on how that return comes in, and that return is dependent on the trim right here, and that trim is dependent on how we frame in the window section. So that's gonna come at a future date. Then we got this all the way around. Like I said, some inexpensive base rock on top of all that wire. We got to patch the corners in. It's ran across where the sliding door is just for temporary purposes. We'll trim it out of the way in the future, but that's what we're looking like. That's how the angle turned out on our guess. Not too shabby for a guess. Be fine for the customers. I don't know, whatever you want to call the chickens. I'm tired. Here we go. And then on the inside, plenty of new storage, which is fantastic. Concrete across the bottom, separating this. Check out this fancy latch. Huh, not bad. Into the nice gated community. Future nesting boxes, it'll be accessed from the outside. Water tower will be right here. Gutter, gutter into it. Water will be set up there, and that's all done. And the feeder's kind of set up there as well. Pretty much ready to go with a nice little picnic table. And of course all the wire across top. So we're gonna do the next goat barn video, just like we did this one. We're gonna keep kind of tinkering away and working on this thing on the weekends and when we get a chance. And when we get enough to make a video, we'll put some more content out on it. But the next thing we'll probably be working on some goat stalls over here, the backfill around the wire, like you said. Well, the batten strips, there's a lot of work to be done yet, but I think we're making good progress. And I'm definitely happy with the way it's all turning out. Hope you guys are enjoying the video, enjoying the channel. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.